Good morning, everyone. I hope that you are having a wonderful, wonderful Thursday morning. We have a great show for you today. Um, we have a guest we're so excited about, and he is a wonder worker at what he's going to talk about. But go get your drink. I'm doing water today instead of my wonderful coffee cup you normally see because it's already warm this morning. So get your drink, come on board. And I'm Carol. I have Life by Design, and I teach you how to design your life in so many different ways because you do have control over that. You can design your life. So if it isn't the way you want it, give me a yell and we can fix that. So, and here's my guest, or no, my co-host, Barbara Ellison. She's my guest sometimes. She's going to be a guest in my house pretty soon because she's.
I know, we're so excited.
But anyway, so Barbara Ellison, and she is going to tell you about herself.
Well, as I said, BarbaraEllison, I'm the founder of the Wellness Playroom. And, because aging is about more than just trying to look like you're 30. And, in my vernacular anyways, it's about being your best self ever, being the best physically, financially, mentally, having mental fitness. So that's where the Wellness Playroom comes in. And I am so excited to introduce you to Alan Raisman. I met, like one of the things that we do for business is you must network. You must network. And if you have a business, you must network with people because you never know who you're going to meet. Well, last week I was on a networking event and guess who I met? Alan. And I was like, we need to talk. And I am so excited because he's going to tell you why I'm so excited about that we talked. So, and here he
invited me on the call. And so I got to meet him too and find out all this wonderful stuff. And he's a whiz.
And the first thing we said was we need to have him on our show because you know what, part of wellness, part of happiness, part of designing your life is having a business that works. Well, in order for your business to work, you need to have people. And in order to have people, you have to advertise, or you have to market, or you have to get the word out that you are a real person. Well, Alan's going to tell us how to do it. So Alan, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so happy I met you both, and I'm so happy you invited me on this show. As you mentioned, marketing is crucial. And whether you are a solopreneur, in a franchise, in a corporate position, you need to market not only your position and your business, but you. And I help people promote themselves on Zoom calls through virtual backgrounds. And I want people to share their story outside of just their voice. I want it to be visual. But in addition, I work for a nonprofit full time, and I tell everyone that I speak to, go to your local community and search the nonprofits in your area. Every one of them does an auction, and in that auction, they have gift baskets. You could promote your business through a gift basket. And if you want to support the nonprofit I'm at, I would love a gift basket of your products, but I want to help you promote your business online through visual backgrounds and in person through gift baskets. Marketing is not just a one-stop shop. There are many, many ways that you can market your business and yourself. And I want to help you do that. And as you mentioned, we met on a networking call. Networking is crucial. And there are a lot of networking groups out there. We met on one, there are hundreds. And what I tell everyone, find out each one, but pick the top 3 to 5 that you go to and go regularly because you're going to make that impression and you're going to create those relationships. You're not going to sell to the first person you meet. They need to like you. They need to trust you. They need to know your name. And if you notice in my background, my name is present. And people are always going to remember not only my face, but they're going to remember my name because it's there for the 30 minutes or so that we're talking today. And I guarantee in a week, they're not going to remember what I said, but they'll see my background and they will remember what I do.
That is so true. And networking is the hub of a good business. Used to we got to do what we called belly to belly. You could go to meetings and trade pens and notepads and visit and those type things. But then after the shutdown, that kind of stopped. So those of us that were doing Zoom already had a leg up. And, I won't say that we've all used everything we could have, but, we knew what Zoom was and we knew how to do it. And so we did have a leg up on some of these people that were only brick and mortar and have had to totally change everything. But But the one thing I want to say about going to networking things, because I'm debating on one I'm going to tomorrow, is you have to have time to follow up. The fortune's in the follow-up. If you just go and meet people, it's like throwing spaghetti up against the wall and see what's going to stick. Well, some will, some won't. But if you really want to maximize your business, you've got to reach out to the people. And like he said, it's people you know, like, and trust that you're going to do business with, because we are very social nowadays. People do take, and used to it was like a 5 or 6 touches or meetings, whatever, before somebody would make a purchase. It's up to 12 and 13 now before somebody,
if not more,
actually, before they'll actually make a purchase of your product. And so it's very, and nonprofit is a product. So don't, when I say that, I'm not including nonprofit, but it is very important that you are the one that keeps reaching out to them. You don't want to pester them. You don't want to bully them. You don't want to be going, hey, are you going to buy my stuff yet? No, you build a relationship. And
yet people do that.
I have to.
Yeah,
I have to do that. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, the other day, somebody on Facebook, I was like, I'm not ready to marry you. It's like, we haven't been on a first date and you're wanting to get married.
Let me give my tidbit on what I tell people about the follow-up.
Good.
You're not going to sell right then and there, but it's all about the relationships. Who do you know that I can connect with? So don't just do a one-on-one one time. Reconnect in 5-6 months, because you don't know who they've added to their network that they can now introduce you to if they remember what you do.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's like with me, Carol said, we connected. You reached out to me before I had a chance to get to you. So kudos. But then what did I say? I said, gee, Carol, I have a meeting with Alan. Come join us. That's what it's about.
So she sent me the link and I clicked on. Yeah.
And I'm so happy you did, Carol.
And here we are. And from this, okay, I'm going to shameless plug for my other podcast, my Everyday Riches show. Alan next week is going to be on my Everyday Riches show, because we talk about getting visible out there. He's a nonprofit. That's one of the things that touches my heart. We need to promote our nonprofits, the good ones. There are some nonprofits out there that are, I wouldn't give them the time of day. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And some of them are big names.
And some of them are big names.
Let me give you my tidbit for nonprofits. Every nonprofit does an auction. The nonprofit that I work at, 95 cents of every dollar goes right back into the mission. So when you give to the auction, you're promoting your business to a nonprofit that does good. And I always recommend, where you go in the nonprofit world, find out how much money goes to the mission.
Right, exactly.
Well, and also find out, I personally like local ones. I'm on the board of a couple of them, but if that money stays local, you know where it's going. If you're with some big nonprofit, and there's good ones out there, but there's some that their corporate leaders, their CEOs make in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, multiple hundreds of thousands. And yet this one in my mind right now, they have zero investment in their product. All of their staffing is done at minimal, if not free. And so the whole company is pretty much 95% profit. And he's, and these people are not getting it. Yes, people benefit that go and shop there, but the CEO himself is raking in the goods. And
let me talk about the auction part of the nonprofit, because that's what I want to focus on.
That's something I'm interested in. So that'd be perfect.
I want people to realize that every nonprofit does something, and there are thousands of nonprofits, hospitals, museums, zoos, colleges, universities. They're all nonprofits. But I want you to find the ones that do an auction. I work for one that serves our community with food, housing, and education. We run a food pantry, we do affordable housing, and we do English as a second language. And when you give to that cause, it's a wonderful thing. But we are, as you mentioned, Carol, serving a local community. But there is a food pantry in your town. I want you to go there. See if
I
they do
work
an
at
auction
one.
there.
I volunteer at one.
Wonderful. But I want to remind everyone, support your local backyard, yes. But if you are, because of Zoom, selling nationally, find the local in other communities because you can
Yes.
get in front of their donors.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm not dissing, and I'm not dissing big national nonprofits, but the local ones, whether it's your local or not, the
Mhm.
local ones, the people there do know more about where those dollars go. And just like Barbara has applied to be a volunteer at KLove,
A great
that's a big
example.
national thing, but it's a local group that does the volunteering and does the events and stuff.
Right.
And so those type things, I'm saying be aware. Be aware of where your dollars are going, because so many things that we have done over the years and things that are like a share with your boss, these big places, those places may or may not be spending your money the way you want them to. Kind of like
Well,
the
and
government.
again,
Is the
find
government
out,
spending your money like you want them to?
find out how much money goes to the mission. That's the only thing I'm going to leave it with.
Exactly.
Because
Yes,
that's how you'll know.
exactly.
Then so I'm a practical kind of gal. Number one, how would our listeners who say, gee, this would be really good, how do I find a nonprofit that has an auction? And number two, how do you find out what their profit margin
Percentages
is,
are.
what their percentages are, because for those people that might not have internet or they're not techie, that was the question that came to mind. So how do you do that? Because that's not my wheelhouse.
Absolutely. So to find out how much money goes to the mission, a good resource is Charity Navigator.
Oh, okay.
And that is a website, charitynavigator.org. But in terms of finding your local nonprofits, your yellow pages, they still exist. You can walk along Main Street. You can go to your local chamber of commerce. Every nonprofit is a business. They all belong to the local chamber.
Yes.
And if you just do a little research in your community, you can find them. But if you need help, let me know where you live. I'm happy to do the research for you.
Wow, that's
well,
great.
and his nonprofit that he works at, it is a good one. So if you just don't have a nonprofit, call him up.
But I want to remind you, as I mentioned before, in the auction, support your local community, yes, because they want to know your business. They're going to be your most loyal customers. But if you can market nationally or even globally, support nonprofits all over this country, because you can get your product into eyes that you would have never met if not for Zoom.
Yes.
Okay, so now my next question, do you teach people how to do this? So
virtual backgrounds, I'm happy to make them for anybody who wants one. And currently I do it free of charge. It's a wonderful hobby. It's a lot of fun. I'm happy to do it. So if you want one, I'm happy to make you one. If you want to learn how to do it, I use Photoshop. I can show you on Zoom how I do it. But when I do it, it takes 5-10 minutes. If I show people, it all depends on their skill set. But in terms of the nonprofit support, if you need help finding your local nonprofit, I'm happy to walk you through how to do that. If you want to learn about the nonprofit I work at, I run a 40-minute orientation over Zoom where I'll walk you through not only what we do, but why we do it. And then in terms of networking, I met at a wonderful networking organization, and I'm in a part of 3 or 4 others, and I'm happy to share those resources with individuals as well.
And that's the biggest thing. That's why one of the reasons Carol and I do this show. It's because we are all in life together. We all need to do life together, and we can do more together than we ever could on our own. One of my favorite things is that, it's an African proverb that if you want to go fast, go by yourself, but if you want to go far, go with others. And that is absolutely so true. And that's how I feel about nonprofits and networking, because we're all in this. I'm a member of my local food pantry, and we did a peanut butter drive. Oh, brother, I got known as the peanut butter lady. I got peanut butter from everywhere. And I would drive my car into the food bank and he would look at me. He said, "Oh yeah, you're the peanut butter one."
Yeah.
And it was so fun. And I got to meet so many beautiful places. I got to speak at so many different places, because people really, I truly believe that people really do want to help, but they
Mhm.
don't want to be scammed.
Yes,
Exactly.
So they don't want to be scammed, and me included. And I have
Me too.
to admit, I've been scammed a few times, and then you get kind of a little gun shy. So
but you
when
have to remember,
right,
if they watch your show and they see your guests, they know they can reach out to them because you like and trust them.
Exactly.
exactly. Exactly. So, and that's one of the things when people say to me, well, how do you find guests? Well, I talk to them.
Amen. Yeah.
I do not bring on anybody onto my shows that I have not personally talked to,
Mhm.
because you can tell when somebody is genuine,
Yes.
because and there have been a couple of times where and it wasn't anything that I could put my finger on, but
Mhm.
it was just off.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, for whatever reason, sometimes there was a specific thing. One day I was interviewing a gal, and she literally read me her bio off. She was reading it on the screen, doing this. Well, I did this, I did this, I did this. And it was just a list of all her accolades. I went,
Well, let me say something else about marketing.
yes,
You do need to know how to market yourself.
right,
And you should remember to do 3 different pitches: a 5-minute, a 2-minute, and a 30-second.
and a 30-second.
Each different networking group is going to ask for a different pitch, and you want to be ready for it.
Right. And one of the things that, let's talk about networking for a minute, because I have been to many networking things, and some of the networking events that were really so fast paced, speed dating on steroids, didn't enjoy them. The one that I met you on, we had 6 minutes together,
Mhm.
one-on-one, 6 minutes. That is the kind of network. So if that's the kind of networking that you're looking for, then that's the kind that you look for. Other people love that speed dating because they take every name and then put them all on an email list.
Mhm.
Well, not my, I believe in relationship.
Absolutely.
But and don't y'all think that's more old school now, to get this whole lead list and just blast it out? People
But
are
people still
getting
do.
much more intentional in their connections
Yeah.
and relationship oriented. And one that I try to show up every time to is they break you into a few rooms. There's a lot of people that go, but there's like 3 or 4 people in the room.
Right.
And then each person speaks and then has time for people to question them, and then they speak.
Right.
And that's good because you meet 3 people at once.
Right. Well, I think on
Mhm.
now we got to talk for three minutes each, but I think there was 6 altogether in the room. I think there was
Yeah.
6 altogether in the room.
And so
That was nice.
that is nice. The one-on-ones are great because you can really get to know people, especially if you get paired with them twice. But I like the small group. I like that
Yes.
because you do have a chance to meet more people and hear what they're doing without having to totally get to know somebody from the start again.
Yeah. The thing for me about networking though too is that, well, because we talked about it before, if you meet 20 people, but you only have bandwidth to follow up with 2, what happens to the other 18?
Mhm.
So that's what I love about the small group where there was 6. I can follow up with 6 people.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I just don't have the bandwidth to, when I go to these big ones, that it's like, okay, they become a sheet of paper, and then it's like, okay, I get to maybe 1 or 2 of them, and then I'm, because we're all busy.
Yes.
We are all doing our own things. And so, yeah.
But my favorite thing about where we met is you understood the concept of networking, of introducing your network to other people. And that's how I met Carol.
Right.
Carol was not
And
on
I
our
was
call,
actually on that same call, but I never got paired
in a
with
different
you.
room.
I was paired
In
with
a
other people. Yeah, I was in a different room. And so, but yes, and do choose your networking groups wisely, because the birds of a feather do flock together. And so if you want quality people, find a quality networking group. And you may have to join and leave some. there's one that I went and I just didn't really mesh with the leaders and how
I
they
just didn't.
handled
Yeah,
it.
that
I'm
was
like,
me too.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll come back. So,
But this is the other thing I tell people when they do networking. If they're brand new to a networking group, they can change their persona. The person they are in person does not have to be the person they are online. If they're cranky, don't be cranky when you get onto Zoom. Show a smile. If you're not going to
Yeah.
smile, don't show up that day. Because
Yeah.
the people that you meet online, they don't know you yet. And you can be a whole new person to the person you were yesterday.
yes. Well, you have that choice every day in life. You have that choice every day in life. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that Barbara talked and I talked about on our Monday motivations call was gratitude, being grateful, being, getting up and saying, Lord, thank you that the sun came up. We take
Yeah.
it for granted, but it is a
That I'm-
miracle.
That I can breathe on my own.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm grateful that you have me on your show today. So thank you.
Yes, yes, and we're grateful you came. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Oh, yeah.
if you'll tell people how to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. So you see my background, my name,
Oh, yeah.
you see it. If you search me on LinkedIn, you'll find me. If you search me on Facebook, you will find me. If you search me on Instagram, you will find me. It's all about branding. Whatever your brand is, make it consistent. And that's how you'll find me. Just search my name.
Great.
Here,
So
let me show you one of the ones
Oh,
that we're.
oh,
It's a work. It's a
Please.
work in progress. Here's
Okay.
one of the ones that Alan. Nope, that's not the one.
When
Well, that is
I-
one,
when I
but it's
make
a work.
But it
backgrounds, I
is
make
a work
several
in
options.
But
progress.
it's that's the thing. It's a work in progress.
I make several options.
You gave
Barbara,
me several.
download background 5.
Background 5. All right, let's try that.
Because I tell you, this is what I do for fun. It's a lot of fun to make these.
Okay, but I've got to get rid of. I have too many.
And I could show mine, but right now my lighting has it messed up. But he put my book up there and all kinds of things. But there's something on my end that's not working. The background was great, but there's
What do
something
you
on
think?
my end with my lights. Yeah. Oh, Barbara, I like that one. I hadn't seen the pink one yet. I like
So
that.
this, yeah.
Isn't that cool, guys? So
This
I'm
is-
sure we'll be
and so
seeing
this-
more of that.
And he did this in 30 seconds. Well, maybe a minute. Maybe a
But he
minute.
had templates. Don't try
he
this
had
at home.
Yeah.
You can
I
do
might-
it, but
I
it
might
won't take you 30
redefine the
seconds.
Pink. I might redefine the pink so it goes more with my pink lady at the front. But this is, yeah. I'll have to find the color palette.
Oh, I could find the color palette for you.
Yeah, I don't want it to match exactly, but just maybe a subtler shade of that.
Yep.
And you'll notice it. And he just says, sure, let's do it.
Okay, Alan, I do have a question. Is that a real QR code in the corner or is it just?
That is a real QR code. And I use a free service that I found on the internet. Google is an amazing resource to make free QR codes. And there are websites to find color schemes. There are websites to find fonts. There's websites for everything. You just have to piece everything together.
Right. Well, Alan, you are a wealth of information.
Wealth
I
of
want to
knowledge.
encourage everybody to reach out and just have a conversation and see if Alan's a good fit for you, because we have found him to be a really good fit. So anyway, Alan, thank you for coming on our show today, and just be blessed. Be blessed. And we will see y'all
Thank you so much.
weeks. Yeah.
Have a good one, everybody.